Hello everyone and welcome to this tutorial which was created for the Fabrika Decoru design team. I will show you in the tutorial how to make this little notebook and specifically how to create this kind of binding to hold the signatures. And for embellishing the notebook, as you can see, I will be using the paper collection by Fabrika Decoru, which is called Especially for Her. As you can see, the notebook is quite small and it measures with the cover 4 3/8 of an inch by 6 inches, and the spine is about 5/8 of an inch in the finished size. The cover includes several layers of different embellishments, and on the spine I've used the wax cord and embellished it with some beads. The notebook closes with this elastic string, and this is how the back looks like. So when you open it, this is the first page where the person who will own the book will be able to put down his or her. In this case, definitely it will be the female, so she will be able to put down her name. And these are just some of the tags that I created using the leftovers of the cutout elements from this paper collection. And as you can see here, there's just a fun pocket in the shape of 2 triangles on the sides, so the tags go there inside. And on the back of the inside cover there is also a pocket, a side pocket, which holds this little tag. We have here 2 signatures, and from the top it looks like this. It's a really easy and fun project to create, so I hope you will enjoy creating something of the kind using the same paper collection or maybe some other paper. So please join me for the tutorial. Let's have fun doing this. We will begin creating the notebook with the cover. For the cover we will need several pieces of chipboard. 2 of these are the same and they measure 6 inches by 4 1/4, and this middle piece for the spine is 6 inches by 1/2 inch. The cardstock that I will be using for wrapping the cover is 7 inches by 12 inches. And as you can see, I've already drew the guidelines that will help me to align the chipboard pieces on top of the cardstock, and the guidelines stand 1/2 inch away from the bottom and the left side of the cardstock piece. I've also applied some double-sided adhesive on the back side of the chipboard pieces, and this will help me to easily attach the chipboard pieces to the future cover of the notebook. So let's begin doing that first. I will remove the backing from one of the pieces, and I like to add wet glue to the areas which are not covered with the double-sided adhesive, and this is what I will do now. I will add just a little bit in these sections in between, just to make sure that everything will hold securely and nothing will move from the place or wrinkle or anything of the kind. I'm using my bone folder to spread the glue and to ensure the good stick of the chipboard and the cardstock. Now I'm taking the piece which is intended for the spine, I need to add some spacing in between these pieces, and I'm using my ruler, which is something like 1/8 of an inch in thickness. So I'm using the ruler in order to get that needed spacing in between the pieces, and I do the same while applying the second chipboard piece, second large chipboard piece, which will be the back of the cover of my notebook. Okay, using the ruler, and forgot to say that of course I'm using the guidelines which I created before in order to align the chipboard pieces correctly and make sure that they're all aligned properly and are glued down straight at a straight line to the cardstock piece. Now we have a little bit of an excess here, which is really not a problem, because using my craft knife and measuring once again 1/2 inch from the edge of the chipboard, I will be cutting all the rest off, and this is the piece that I will be working with right now. Now I have to miter the corners in order to start wrapping my cover. I'm not cutting it all the way close to the edge of the chipboard. I will show you in a second. I'm leaving just a little bit there, and that's to ensure that the chipboard will not show through the cardstock which will be on top of it. And now once again I will use the double-sided adhesive in order to wrap the sides of the cover. Like that, burnishing. Now first I will fold the paper like this to help it wrap easily. Okay, and I'm starting from the middle and working to the sides. I'm pressing on the paper in order to glue it down. It's better to work on the long sides first and on the longer edges, and then on the short ones. Like that. Now kind of tuck in these areas using your bone folder. Remove the backing and fold the remaining paper. Do the same from the other side, and you can say that your base cover is done. Now burnish on the edges to make them look crisp and beautiful. You can really see the difference. I hope you can. Now it looks like this, and once I burnish, it looks like that. Okay, now gently find the folds on the cover. Okay, so this is the base of our future notebook. Now before we get to creating the binding and to create the signatures for our notebook, we have to cover this central area and the spine from the inside of the cover. For doing that, I will take another piece of cardstock, and I'm using white, you are free to use any other paper, any other color of the paper, or even design a paper for doing that. The piece of paper that I have will measure 5 and 7/8 of an inches, which is about 1/8 of an inch smaller than the base of the cover, and in width it's 3 inches wide. Okay, so we will glue it down here in the middle. I've applied the double-sided adhesive here along the edges of the cardstock piece that I have, and I will also apply the double-sided adhesive to the spine of the cover, like that, almost to the almost close to the top and bottom edge of the spine, but not really, not too close. Leave about 1/4 of an inch, I think, should be enough. What's important is to apply really close to the chipboard pieces here on the right and on the left side. Now when we take the cardstock piece, we'll of course remove the backing, and we will also remove the backing from the cover piece here. And before gluing it down, apply once again wet glue here to the middle area of the cardstock to ensure a good bond between the paper and the chipboard. Now I'm just eyeballing and centering it, and then pressing and gluing down using my bone folder to burnish really good, and then to gently find the folds of the notebook cover. Okay, like that. Now if you would like to embellish with the designer paper in any way the spine of your notebook, do it now. Let me explain to you how to create the pages for the notebook. I've used a plain printing paper, and this is the A4 size. Actually the size of the notebook was dictated by the size of the pages that I've got, and what I did was I folded this sheet in half. Okay, then I cut it using my paper trimmer. It's really important to get the crisp edges, of course, so pay attention to that. So once you cut it into half, oops, never mind, it's really thin, so it just tore here a little bit. So for creating the signatures for our notebook, you will use this size. Okay, this piece here measures roughly 4 1/8 of an inch by 5 7/8. 5 7/8 of an inch. So I have prepared here, this is one signature, and this is the additional one. I will have 2 signatures in my notebook, and each signature includes, if I'm not mistaken, 14 pages, which look like this. You will also create a template, and you will poke the holes in the template first. You will measure, of course, where the holes will be, and how I measured is as follows. I put the ruler in the way that left about 1/16 of an inch from the left and the right side, up to 6 inches, and then I marked the middle, which was at 3 inches, and I've also marked 2 places on the left and on the right side from the 3 inches that I marked before, at 4.5 and at 1.5 of an inch. So this gave me these 3 places for the holes that we need to create for the future binding of the notebook. For poking them in the template, you can use either plain poking tool, this is what I have, either an awl, which in my case looks like this. It's really not important right now, but after this, in order to poke the holes in the cover, and as you can see, the spine here of our notebook is really narrow, so I suggest to use not the crocodile, but a tool which looks like this, and it's, I don't remember how it's called, but this one, which looks pretty much the same but the design is slightly different, is called the Japanese screwdriver. I will be using this one from Martha Stewart, which has here 3 sizes of those metal pieces with the holes, and I will be using the smallest one. We have our template, and it's better that you mark on the template where the top and the bottom is. And then what you do, once you folded and cut the printing paper for your pages, and you stacked a few of them together, okay, you will put this, you will make sure that the fold lines are aligned properly and look like this. Okay, then you will place your template with the poked holes in the template in the places that you've marked before. You will place it in the middle. You will once again straighten all the stack and make sure that everything is aligned. You will use the paper clips in order to keep it all securely together, and then you will take your poking tool, or once again an awl, and poke the holes starting from the inside and poking out to the outside, making sure that on the exit your hole is also kind of on the center, in the center of that fold line. You will poke 3 of those holes, and then you will be able to take the whole signature, place it on something, on a protected surface, and use the screwdriver in order to poke larger holes. And that's because for the binding itself, we will be using wax cord, wax thread, if you want to call it like that. This is how it looks in my case, and it's about 1 millimeter in thickness. So I will need maybe in several places to poke even a few times in order to reach the other side of the signature. Okay, so do that in all the 3 places, once again making sure that you are poking them straight in the middle of that fold line. Let me check where the top was. Okay, here. So on the first page of the signature, I will also put down that this is the top. Now I can remove the paper clips. Okay, and this way I have two of the signatures ready to be bound on the cover, but we still have to make the holes on the cover too. For doing that, we will use once again that same template that we had before. Okay, but of course we have to know where exactly to poke them on the spine. So first, let's use a pencil and a ruler and make some marks here on the spine, which will be in the middle of the spine. Exactly, try to be as exact as possible. Okay, like this. And now I will draw a line. I'm not pressing on the pencil because later we will need to erase those guidelines anyway. Okay, so now the holes that I will make will be on the lines, which are going to stand away from this central line 1/8 of an inch. Okay, like this. So now I will draw very gently two more lines like this. Now, just to make it clear that we are not using the central line, I will erase it like that, and I will base the future measurements on these two lines which are left. So if this will be the front of the cover, I will take my template like this and I will align it here inside the cover and along the guideline which I created. And as you can see, the holes here are clearly marked, so I will use them for marking the places for poking the holes on the spine, and I'm making the marks on that guideline which I created before. I will do the same here on the second line, which is intended for the second signature. So this is what we have right now. Let me show it to you closer. Okay, so these are the places where we need to poke the holes. So let me do that now. One, and make sure that you go all the way through the cover, and you can, okay, this is what you will have. Okay, so do this in the remaining marks. Only when I already did it, I realized that this was not the correct place for poking the hole. So anyway, I already poked them in the correct places, and I just hope that the cord that I will use for the binding will cover this hole here from the front side of the spine. Anyway, we can now erase the guidelines. Okay, and get to the binding itself. So as I already mentioned, we will use this wax cord, and to know the length of the cord that we will need for each signature, I am just wrapping it twice around the cover, around the spine, and I leave tails which are about, I don't know, maybe 2 inches, something like 2.5 inches long, and I'm cutting that off. Slight problem with the camera, and the part where I showed you how I attached the first signature of the cover was not recorded, but it's good that we still have the second signature, and I will be able to use it as an example and show you how to attach the signature to the cover of the notebook. So I'm using that piece of the cord that I cut, and I'm stringing it first from the outside of the cover through the middle hole, so that a tail which is about 4 inches long is left here on the outside. Okay, I think I will clip the tail now to the cover just to make sure that it stays in place, like that. Okay, so now when I pull, it stays there. Okay, so now you take your signature, you start in the same way to string the cord through the middle hole from the inside, from the outside to the inside. Then you string it through the top hole from the inside of the signatures and the inside of the cover to the outside of it, like this, making sure that you are pulling the cord tightly and making sure that you have a good attachment of the signature to the spine of the cover. Then you wrap the longer piece of the cord around the spine like that, and now you string it through the same hole from the inside of the signatures and the inside of the cover to the outside, like that, pulling it out from the front of the spine. Now we have to go from the outside to the inside through the middle hole on the spine, and I like to string it through the spine first and then to fetch it from this side and string the cord through that signature. Like this. Okay, and when you're pulling it from the inside, make sure that you are still pulling that tail on the outside as well. Okay, great. Now we go from the inside of the signatures and the third hole to the inside of the spine, pulling the tail of the cord from the outside, wrapping it around the spine, stringing it through the same hole on the signatures, like that, and stringing it from the inside to the outside of the third hole on the spine as well. Now when you have this done, and this is the tails that you have, just make sure that you pull the tails really nice and tight, and make sure that the signatures are attached to the spine securely and everything is aligned and straight. Okay, once you are sure of that, you will tie a knot and move it closer to the middle hole like that. Okay, and holding it really tight with one of the fingers. You will tie the second knot, and here you are done with the binding. You completed to bind the pages to the cover, and this is how it looks right now. Okay, this is how it looks from the inside. This is the second signature. The tails here can be embellished in many different ways. You can put some beads on them and then tie a knot just to hold the beads there. You can maybe, I don't know, if you have 3 signatures on the spine, you can make a braid maybe, or if you don't want to do either of those, you can just trim the tails and leave them like that. You can tie a bow. There are so many creative ways to embellish them that I'm sure you will be able to find something. What is left to do is, of course, to cover the insides of the notebook cover with the designer paper. Now, as for the inside pages, you can leave them plain, you can stamp them, and you can also embellish them with the beautiful cut out flowers that you have here from the cut out sheet from the collection. One more thing that I forgot to do is the closure for the notebook, because we want, of course, to keep it closed and secure. So I will do it now, but since you will be hopefully first watching the tutorial and only then creating this project, do it before you cover the inside of the back cover with the designer paper. Okay, so I will punch the holes now in the areas that I've marked with the pencil. So I'm setting the eyelet on top of the elastic cord that I strung through the hole first, and now I'm using the crocodile to set that eyelet in place. Okay, so now it looks like this, and I will use my scissors and trim the excess of the elastic string like that, so it actually looks pretty good. So let's do it from the other side too, and the way we do it is like that. Okay, I will string it through. I will put the eyelet and I will use my crocodile in order to set the eyelet like this. Okay, now the same thing goes to this tiny tail that I will be cutting off, and now I can keep the notebook shut like this with that elastic string on top. And now I will be embellishing the front cover.